San Antonio!
Let's go! Hello, San Antonio.
Welcome to All Things San Antonio podcast.
This is Ken Carter.
And this is Brad Burns on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon.
And we're going to talk about all the things that we love about San Antonio. Not really. We're going to go through, we're going to kind of counteract. Last time we did one of these, we did a Reddit where we went through and all the things that people don't like about San Antonio. And I saw that similar to his free throw percentage, Charles Barkley was 50-50 again because he was talking about our beautiful women here in San Antonio. But then he was also talking about how dirty the water is in Galveston and how the beaches are horrible. And that's kind of true.
I'll take that, though.
Hey, he's 50-50.
I mean, I'm more of a Corpus fan, Rockport. You know, we have the house down there.
Yep.
Myself, but Galveston's all right.
Have you ever been to South Padre?
I've never been to South Padre.
Me neither. It was
It's
never
too far. Like, it's 5 hours compared to 2 hours. I can deal with a little bit of dirt in my water.
It's just a little extra sand, just a little thick, little sand.
I can deal with it.
So we're gonna go through the couple of Reddits that talk about all the things that they love about San Antonio, and we were kind of previewing these. And one of the things that I thought it was hilarious is because, and I didn't realize this, and that's another thing that I did know, but the butthole surfers are from San Antonio, which. Of course I know who the butthole surfers are, but I had to play you a song. What did you think? We played, I don't remember what song it was.
I'm not a fan of surfing buttholes.
But how'd you like the song? You didn't like the song?
It was all right. I mean,
it was such a 90s electric kind of.
I mean, I probably wouldn't drive down the street. I mean, I probably wouldn't go to Sam Goody and ask for the Butthole Surfer CD.
It was nostalgic.
You ever go to Sam Goody's?
I did have back in the day.
Yeah.
But I was more of a Napster guy, which was let's just download them and burn a CD.
Well, I think that was after kind of when Sam Goody was in their heyday.
Yeah, I was never a music guy that much when I was younger. Like growing up, we didn't have record money.
I heard that I might have been more of like a LimeWire type person, just getting all the viruses, all the Soulja Boy songs, labeled as everything else.
Yeah, when Napster went away, then I used all those. I have to admit, but
I used to make the best mixtape CDs.
I was thinking about that. Like, what do kids do today for a mixtape? Do they send their Spotify playlist?
Well, the algorithm.
Eric's saying yes.
The algorithm just tells them what they want to hear next.
Yeah,
and it knows you better than you know yourself.
It does. It's funny. I've been introduced to so many bands through my Pandora playlist because I'm old. I use Pandora for my music, and I use the one with ads. I don't pay for it. But I've been introduced to a number of bands that were no longer bands, which I thought was crazy. Like actually, Uncle Lucius, Keep the Wolves Away the band had broken up, I think, 8 years ago. That song, it got into my mix. It got into my kids' mix too on their music. It's kind of a country, Texas kind of country. It's a band out of Galveston. As a matter of fact, the song talks about Galveston Bay, which Jennifer would correct me and say that's more League City than Galveston, where all the oil refineries are. But
nothing like some good old Texas oil water.
Nothing like some good old Texas one. But anyways, they got featured on Yellowstone. You've heard the song because it was on Yellowstone.
We're rewatching it.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah. So if you see me bust out the cowboy boots and hat again, I'm rewatching Yellowstone.
I just saw a thing talking about I don't know her name. I've only seen like half of the first season.
You didn't like it?
It was too. I think we've talked about it. It was too much like a telenovela. It was like we were talking about Eric Estrada. It was too.
It's basically Sons of Anarchy on horseback.
It was more like General Hospital in Montana to me. I don't know. It's just so unrealistic. You don't have that much. I mean, that would never ever happen. It's just too unrealistic.
That you know of.
Yeah, well, Montana, right?
Yeah.
Is that where they're at?
I mean, we might be having to do the same things here in San Antonio. It's just kind of swept under the rug.
Well, not as well.
The mayor is kind of buff. He could probably put you in a chokehold and choke you out pretty quick. What's his name? Ron? Yeah. Have you seen his arms?
I haven't. Been
That dude has some guns.
Someone's got to crush.
No, that dude like.
So one of the things that you love about San Antonio is your mayor's guns.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like honestly, my mayor can beat up your mayor. I don't even know what the mayor of Austin looks like, but I guarantee that Ron could take him.
Oh, we could take the Austin guy.
Ron could definitely take the Austin mayor.
Dude, challenge to Austin mayor. What's his name, Eric? Kirk. Mayor Kirk.
Ron will get them guns and take you out, boy.
The loser has to eat Austin's tacos.
Man, so rolling into the best things about San Antonio on this Reddit thread.
These are a couple things I did know and I think are pretty cool. Like for the Carol Burnett, the Carol Burnett show back in the 70s, she was iconic. She's from San Antonio, which I've always loved. She's a great comedian. But this saying, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Yogi Berra gets credit for a lot, but that was from our very own Dan Cook, who wrote for the Express News and was on Ken's Five and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember Dan Cook.
That was like that's a worldwide saying, and that came from Little Old San Antonio. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. So, that's far, cool. All the cool things about San Antonio, pretty cool. Just saying.
And I would say, Charles Barkley probably agrees with that statement too.
In the quiet, when he's like having dinner with David Robinson and everything, and like wants to be real, and not trying to be funny. Same with like, and what gosh, I get mad every time anybody says Shaq's from New Jersey. He went to Cole High School. He is a San Antonio boy all day long. We love. So here's another one I think is pretty cool. They mentioned outside of like people is like our mature trees, like especially for as far south we are and kind of right there on the desert. It's one of the things I love about San Antonio is because you can go up towards Bastrop and you get into the pine country and everything, and you can go towards the hill country, go out towards Fredericksburg. You got the big Enchanted Rock. You go down south, you got the coast, you got the desert. Like we have all these different types of outdoorsy things to do within 45 minutes of San Antonio. And
it's nice. I love the mature trees because I hate going somewhere and they have childish trees.
Yeah. And we've got such a great...
I saw Eric's face on that one. I was trying to set that one up, yeah.
Yeah. You got to let them come in more naturally. That's too much... Did you hear that? He did the wah-wah. I'm telling Eric what was going on. But... There's a lot of neighborhoods in San Antonio that have just beautiful oaks and trees and things like that. One of the things when Zane and Avery when they were looking at that house when I went and showed her the house that they ended up buying, the first thing I fell in love with was the trees. They got beautiful trees and stuff like that. So I will second. I'm a tree guy. There's something about it's unfortunate like these new neighborhoods they get these little scrawny little trees and your first-time home buyers get to deal with none of that, but
they make the builder plant them.
Yes.
So they're super strict on like the tree policy.
Oh yeah.
We had a new build rep. I was out showing some new builds, and there was it was a crusty old mesquite tree in the backyard. Like it was on his last leg, but they couldn't cut it down because the city thing. Mm-hmm. And the sales rep was like, "No, we can cut it down. Like if you want that tree removed, we'll get it removed." And I knew that wasn't gonna happen. And then she was like, "Yeah, I'll ask my boss and they'll get it removed." And she asked her boss, and her boss said, "No."
They're which is good that they protect as much. Like, I mean, I do my own development and stuff like that, and like, no offense against people that do development, but like, every square inch that you can put a house is great. Is a good place to put a house. So it's good that we have some regulations and people having a little bit of oversee and everything to keep our neighborhoods nice. But you get outside of San Antonio when they start building these neighborhoods. I mean, sometimes there just isn't a tree around to be found.
Yeah, I think the role is for every house has to come with 2 trees, especially on the new construction.
Yeah.
And then when they're developing the land, there's only so many trees they can cut down, and they have to replace them with so many other ones and things like that.
They do a tree. They last time I went down to the Board of Adjusters to get a variance for the size of our setbacks and things like that. Somebody was wanting to build a parking lot, and there was a tree that they're like, okay, we can do this, but then the next question that the board asked is like, okay, well, how is this going to affect the tree policy? And they had an actual arborist, the city's arborist, come in, and he goes, we haven't even looked at it, and so, well, you're delayed, which is great. The city had we have arborists, and every single site is looked at and everything.
That's cool. So the next one is coming from Houston, the hills, culture, and the lack of traffic. I would say on the lack of traffic, they've never been on 1604.
Here's the thing is like...
But Houston is bad.
Houston's bad. And the thing about Houston's traffic is it's all the time. There's no time that it's not traffic. And that's... I think that people that only go to work and then come home and only experience the traffic think that San Antonio has really bad traffic. I'm fortunate that I don't have to be in the office until about 9:30. And like I wait, like it's like it can be horrendous because where I live, it's either a 40-minute drive on a normal day, or if it's like without the traffic times every day. Like normal traffic time though is like it's an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's easy to double.
It's easy to double, and then you throw in a wreck, and it's like I find myself because I got I got options. And, like, I'm constantly turning Google Maps off. I love that it's, like, we have everything right there now. Because I, like, try to route. Like, okay, I'm always checking before I get past, if on 1604, before I get past 1604, I said, I've got to check and make sure that this is still the route, that there hasn't been any wrecks since then.
So they said coming from Houston, no hurricanes.
That's true.
That's fair.
Well, we got the other end of it though. Everybody comes here to hang out while they're getting the hurricane. So we're the ones helping them out, providing shelter and such. How close have you been to a hurricane? Have you ever been in any kind of natural disasters or anything like?
Not that I mean, the 98 flood, like I remember that pretty vividly.
That one I was working at the Leon Springs Rudy's. Like the flood literally like was almost waist deep. We were climbing up on it was kind of it wasn't scary, but it was like, okay, we've got a situation kind of thing.
Yeah.
A month or two after that, I was down at the coast and there was a hurricane coming in, and I was there with a friend. We were out doing some fishing, and
I just roughed it out.
No, I was like, dude, you get me out of here. I said, I've been in a small flood in San Antonio. I am not sticking through a hurricane. Let's get in that shoulder traffic and get out of here. So we packed it up, and he actually got his boat, brought it back to San Antonio to keep it safe and everything. But yeah, we
went down to like Corpus, Rockport, Port Aransas after Harvey. And like helped with cleanup and things like that. That was something like I've never seen before. It was wild.
It's crazy. When I was a kid, we lived in Altus, Oklahoma, at the Air Force Base there, and I remember being in the closet with mattress over our head, with the tornado warnings and everything. Just trying.
Wild.
Oh man, that day I was like third grade, second or third grade, but I remember vividly because we left. My dad came home. We left to go visit my family in Texarkana, and. Man, my accent just came out when I started talking about Texarkana. Like 3 hours after we left, because they said it was clear, and then we took off immediately, and like 3 hours later, like 2 miles from our house, a tornado came sweeping through and destroyed a ton of stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I remember one time. I mean, we get a bunch of hailstorms here, so I remember one time there was like softball size hail. Dude, like that was crazy. That was like apocalyptic. I can't even say the word, but.
I think it was May 12th or May 14th or something like that of 2017. Because I had just got him a new insurance policy for his house, and a hail went literally through the shingles, through the decking, and landed was in the attic. I mean, literally a hail, like a baseball size, softball size hail, came through the roof.
We closed on our house, and the next day there was a hailstorm, and it put a hole in the roof. But it was only that one spot, so they just patched it. I didn't get a new roof.
Whenever I have clients that are looking at their house and they're like, "Oh, that roof is like," I'm like, in the back of my head is, "You'll get a free one."
Yeah,
you'll get one for your deductible.
That's literally the advice our roofer partner tells people is like, your roof, I mean, it's good for the next 10, 15 years.
And there will be a hailstorm between them.
But there'll be a hailstorm and you'll get a new one before that.
Which is why the insurance companies are in dire straits in all these places because people rely on things like that.
Yeah.
But at least we only rely on it for
hail.
For hail and for roofs. Down there in Florida, they're like, you got to replace my $2 million house.
Yeah, well, my insurance company just left Texas, so I had to get a new one.
Who were you with?
I was with State Auto. I go with Goosehead, and they shop around everybody.
Yeah.
And so now I'm with somebody else, but it was like $700 more a year, just because all the prices of insurance have skyrocketed.
It's crazy how much insurance has gone up.
Yeah,
it really is.
And I don't know how this works or whatever, or the value that the insurance company puts on the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, man, this is like more than it's actually worth.
Well, it's supposed to be based on a replacement cost, on like what would it cost to rebuild back to this. But pretty much like every policy ends up with the sales price because no lender is it's going to at least be the loan price. Like if like you'll have a hard time finding a policy that's not covering the loan price.
You might do a 10% deductible, but
yeah, but that's those costs people don't think about when we talk about like the cost of housing and stuff going up and it becoming less affordable and this and that. Which we had this conversation earlier today about like you got to understand the micro and the macro levels of it and everything, and it really gets down to the small details and things. But the insurance costs are pretty steady across the board, right? The percentage and stuff like that are kind of predetermined, and so like it definitely hits in, and then property values go. Anyways, so next one is they talk about one of the things they love about San Antonio is, I agree with this, the hike, bike, float, eat, chill vibes most everywhere. I mean, we were a family that this last couple of years we haven't had time just to do it, but like we floated every year. We go to the Comal, like somewhere, always going up to the Perdinal, going hiking and things like that.
Comal freaks me out. Floating the river freaks me out.
More and more I see about like the particle counts of like.
I mean, all that stuff is what it is, but it's like
it's
there's, I don't know. It's just something about standing in the mud, and then like snakes.
There's no.
I've seen snakes. Like, don't tell me there's no snakes.
We always have a great time.
It's fun.
But
still, like if you think about it, it kind of freaks me out a little bit.
You're not a nature guy.
I don't mind nature.
It sounds like you don't like nature.
No, I just don't like snakes swimming next to me.
The big thing we always saw was like the turtles. Like they'd go and swim around with the turtles and stuff like that, and get one and put it on somebody's tube and have fun.
Yeah, I'm not that white. So HEB breakfast tacos, yeah. I mean, our tacos are definitely next level.
HEB it always like just everything about it is always good. The fact that
HEB smacks.
The fact that a 2 to 4 hour ish hour drive in different direction, you're a totally different venue, Coast Beach, Pine Forest. That's exactly what I was saying. West Texas desert. And you even drive a little bit farther. You go out to like 5 hours west, go like to Alpine and Fort Davis and everything like that. You've got Texas UT has the McDonald Observatory. That just popped in my head.
You can go to Marfa and see the lights, right? They have the Marfa lights.
The Marfa lights, which who knows what they are.
It might just be overlooking Roswell, huh?
Or it might just be cars over in the distance. Could be people tracking across.
It could be Wemby.
Could be Wemby.
You know, Wemby's an alien, they said, right?
I saw some video of his younger brother. They went over a couple of the guys from the Spurs management went over to take a look and watch him play I think he's 17, 6'9".
So he's little brother.
Well, that's the thing about so your kids are still young. Girls stop growing as far as height. On average, it's different for everybody for the most part, but usually around their sophomore, junior year, they don't really get much taller after that. Guys, we stop growing usually in our first year in college or so, unless you just stop growing, you're short.
Why you look at Eric when you say that?
I can look at both of y'all. That's all right. We should set up better.
So one of the best things about San Antonio is that it's everything that Austin isn't. I agree with that.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Everything that. Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Somebody said the ducks down at the Riverwalk, they like ducks. I mean, that's cool. It's almost like Cam Patterson likes rocks.
There are some pretty cool ducks. There's like if you walk from the Pearl down to like the main Riverwalk area and everything, there's some nice little areas with like the ducks and stuff. I like the ducks. Ducks are nice. And you also have the little grotto. Like, I don't know if, like, the Riverwalk proper. Y'all don't know this movie, Cloak and Dagger. You're a movie guy. Do you remember? Have you ever heard of the movie Cloak and Dagger? It was filmed downtown San Antonio on the Riverwalk. It's an 80s movie.
Only
with
movie?
invisible people.
I know two movies that were done here.
Which two?
Selena.
I was going to make
anything
such
for
a bad
Selena's.
joke.
I think her brother's just mad she took all the fame. But Selena and then Miss Congeniality.
Oh, that's right. Sandra Bullock came down here. That's right. That was, yeah. Talking movies, San Antonio, we would be amiss if we didn't mention Mark Rodriguez. If we start talking about movies and things to like about San Antonio, do you know who Mark Rodriguez is? Spy Kids. He's San Antonio. And El Machete,
who?
El Machete? With Jesus Trejo?
Machete.
What? Robert Rodriguez. God dang. Dude, you know what's funny? Mark Rodriguez is his cousin, and Mark Rodriguez was my first ex-boyfriend. Yeah, I know who Mark. I knew Mark. I never met Robert, but I knew who Mark Rodriguez was. That's why.
So you're still upset with him, huh? You remember his name?
No, for sure not.
So we're beefing with Mark Rodriguez, huh?
I'll tell you one. That was the first guy she went on. She dated after we got divorced. Mark Rodriguez.
So that was after, not before.
It was after.
I thought it was before. So I thought we were beefing with Mark. Never mind,
I
Mark.
got no beef with anybody.
Mark, you're in the clear.
She ended up marrying a great guy, and I was so happy, and it's been awesome. That way, she never had to ask me for more money.
Cost of living, less brutal winter, friendly vibes, safer down south.
I would say less brutal winter until like this year. Well, this winter was super mild, but those last two sucked.
Man, I really enjoyed Snowvid.
You enjoy? Well, it was great because things were kind of shut down. That happened. I remember because we talked about how I hate my birthday, Valentine's Day. February 14th, that big ice storm happened, and I had a client, a buyer that just had to see homes, and I was over in Alamo Heights, and I drove all the way over to Alamo Ranch with straight iced roads. And those people never bought a house. It
usually works like that,
they're
right?
Still renting. That's 3 years later. And you know what he told me?
They're waiting on the next snowstorm?
They're waiting for the prices to become real, that the homes are too overpriced. And they're still renting a house. And the prices have only gone up. Every single time, every year they wait, the price goes up. But,
I mean,
I'm not bitter. Don't get bitter, get better. That's what I always say. That's my saying. I made it up. People use it all the time. Without family and friends, I like to move to. I have moved to Vermont by now.
Kanye Gasada, go to Vermont.
Kanye Gasada, but I don't hate the name. Kanye
No,
Gasada.
the name's pretty good. Extremely family friendly. I wanted to go out to the Rock at La Cantera this weekend, but all that traffic on 1604 with 1604 being shut down for the overpasses that they're building.
Dude, I do not love that.
I decided not to, so we'll get out there one day.
My buddy David lives out in Stubing Ranch, not Stubing Ranch. I don't know. It's up. He lives outside
Stonewall Ranch.
Stonewall Ranch. There you go. His daughter went to go visit her grandparents over in Shirt, Selma. They took 3009. 3009 goes from Shirts all the way up to Fair Oaks Ranch. I never knew that.
That's a long way too.
It was only
but it's quicker than 1604.
It was only 45. It was like 45 minutes. Typically like 30 minutes. I was like, man, but that's like a lot easier. Like that may be the way now. I was like, yeah. I could see that. Like I'll just go that way from now on.
Always stuff to do with the kids on the weekends. San Antonio barbecue, you know, we talk about that all the time.
Chili and lime, Dos Equis, or Shiner. I would never put chili and lime on a Shiner. That doesn't make any sense.
Is this for a MySA article? You know, I actually had somebody reach out from, it might have been homes.com, based off some of our YouTube videos asking about certain areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of their writers.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
I
was like, shout me out.
The kind of a little thing that's great about there's a website, sanantonioreport.org. It's a nonprofit online newspaper, whatnot. They have a series that's called "What I Love About My Neighborhood," and they've got a great series that they find an individual, and it may be Monte Vista, it may be this neighborhood, and they just talk about their little neighborhood and stuff like that. It's really cool little.
That's cool.
Little series, yeah.
I also follow, I think it's called Sky News. It's a group on Facebook, and where everybody just reports their own news in there.
Wow.
So you'll see all the stuff that doesn't make it to the actual news station.
Well, that's why I get my news from X.
Yeah.
People love it or hate it. It's crazy. Like I also get a lot of news from TikTok, which is one of my. It's crazy how quickly you see what's going on. Like I follow a couple things called like this raw alert one and everything that like. And I tend to like go to Google to verify. And sometimes it's just like it's not true or whatever, and sometimes it's something from so long ago. But it's crazy how fast like news is just being.
Speaking of like real estate and things like that,
I feel like I was boring him.
Yeah, I'm sleepy. I don't have no caffeine here. But speaking of real estate, did you see that they listed the killer of Savannah Soto, the pregnant girl, and her boyfriend that got killed? They listed that guy's house. So it's up for sale now.
Did they get
the killer's house?
Did they die in the house?
No.
But you get a good deal.
It's pretty outdated. It's like in the medical center area.
That just means you need to do a little.
That was definitely a fail on muting your mic to cough because we heard you on my mic. Tommy Lee Jones lives here.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, here's a for those that know, like he lives in Terrell Hills. And I don't know if he still does this when my oldest kids, so they're in their mid-20s now, so like 15 years ago, he would give away the big chocolate bar. Like everybody would go by his house because he gave away the full chocolate bar, not the little ones and stuff like that. He was known for that.
Do you give away the full chocolate bar?
No, I don't. This shout out to Phil Collins, one of the biggest Alamo enthusiasts in the world. That's true. He's donating a lot of his stuff as far as the Alamo Plaza and everything like that. Which there's a great book called Forget the Alamo that I read that half his stuff may actually be fake, but that's a whole nother story.
Phil's stuff is fake.
It could be.
I mean, they make some pretty good fake stuff. Like
the thing is like it's so hard to like authenticate the things, but I love the saying perception is reality because it truly is. Like he say tragically something happens and everything and he's not here tomorrow on this planet. He believes everything is real. So for him, everything was absolutely real. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day with some of the stuff, it's real or fake. If the person believes it's real and connected to it, that perception really is all that matters.
So Meg the Stallion was born here?
Shawn Michaels. Hall of Fame wrestler Shawn Michaels.
Isn't Stone Cold Steve Austin from here too?
He's from
nearby?
Bernie, I think.
That's close enough. We'll take it.
We'll take Stone Cold.
Yeah. Stone Cold
see-
Steve Bernie.
Robert Rodriguez. See, they mentioned Robert Rodriguez. David Robinson. He's not from San Antonio, but man, the Admirals. He
owns San Antonio.
He literally owns a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I'm gonna put this out here. We had talked about it this morning, and you got a little weird about it. Like you didn't think that we could get Tim Duncan on the podcast. So I'm gonna just put it out here that we'll have Tim Duncan on here one day.
That's never happening.
And one thing I was telling somebody today is I love when people tell me that I can't do something, because I'm like, nah, you can't do it. Like we gonna do it.
You're right. We're not. It's not gonna,
So we're gonna talk about. I'm putting it out here. So Tim, listen to this. We're gonna talk about your local business, Blackjack Speed Shop. Talk about the cars and the custom things that you do, and hopefully find a way that we can drive some business to your thing.
You just put it out into the universe.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So
Clip
Tim, shoot me a text.
And we'll finish on Fuddruckers, rest in peace.
There's still one in Corpus.
Is there? It's probably I used to work at Nacho Mama's Mexican restaurant up in Leon Springs, and at the time we had Nacho Mama's. That was 98, right before they had the flood. They just closed Nacho Mama's not too long before that. But we had the original Macaroni Grill, which is no longer there, and then Rudy's Barbecue. And man, we would send over pounds of fajita meat to Macaroni, and they would send us like all the best pasta dishes.
Oh, that's
We
cool.
would just trade out food and stuff like that. It was always the best. That's the thing I loved about restaurant
Trading food.
I don't know, man. It was so much fun working in the restaurant business back in the day. You're on the fast food side with McDonald's and everything. I was a waiter.
On the slow food.
I was a good server, man. I was a great server. I used to have a memory, and like I could get up to 7 or 8 tops without writing anything down. Every change, whatever, doesn't matter.
What happened?
We'll say age, but it could be a little bit more natural. It's a natural reasons why I've lost my memory.
So yeah, Fuddruckers, they're supposed to open back up in the mall. I don't know if they ever actually opened back up.
That was a couple years ago, though. I don't know.
So Fritos.
Yeah, Fritos.
Isn't Big Red from San Antonio too?
Yep, Pace Picante. I saw a TikTok. I get these TikToks that talk about like things that only like your age or things like you would know.
New York City.
Where's this Picante? New York City. Get a rope, man. Those commercials back in the day for Pace, and I've talked about this. I love the story about that. I think we've talked about it before, but I used to drive out on 35 and you'd smell the garlic.
Yeah.
Like right by Splashdown. You smell the garlic.
Well, they're one of the big investors in the Pearl.
And all that. Yeah, the owner of it when he sold out for a lot of money to Campbell's. It was awesome.
I mean, I don't blame him.
I don't blame any of it. He's done a lot of good. Or bad. I don't really know him personally. But I like the Pearl.
Thanks for tuning in to All Things San Antonio. This one we talked about.
You know what else is
all
great?
The best things.
One of the best things about San Antonio, I would have to say,
Me?
is every Tuesday you can just listen to another episode of All Things San Antonio with your guy Brad Burns and me, Ken Carter. Let's go.